want to talk about Steve Biko. That is what Somalia, that is what Africa is. It does not need to be saved by anyone. It does not need an intervention.
During colonialism, the missionaries went in and said that, you know what, we're going to save these barbaric people from killing each other. Today they're saying that we're going to save these people from killing each other. They're saying the same things.
If you can change your vote when you change your mind, that is what democracy is all about. Now polling.ca.
My name is Alison. I am one of the coordinators of the Mao Sudan Somalia campaign, as well as a student at the University of British Columbia, and I work with a group called Coalition Against War on the People of Iraq and internationally. This is the second forum of the Mao Sudan Somalia campaign, US-UN Hands Off Darfur, All Foreign Troops Out of Somalia, which is a campaign that is hard fought for 1,700 signatures in the last 1 month of petitioning, a petition for all foreign troops out of Somalia, as well as US-UN Hands Off Darfur, as well as we have had a forum, demonstration also demanding US-UK out of Iraq and Canada out of Afghanistan, and participated in the Student Week Against War and Occupation organized by Mao that had a theme of US-UN Hands Off Africa. We are here today because we want to discuss this era of war and occupation. Mobilization Against War and Occupation also has a major campaign for Canada out of Afghanistan, but launched 1 month ago the Sudan-Somalia campaign because of what we saw was an opening of the era of war and occupation into Africa. And the details of this era of war and occupation, I will leave it to our great speakers, one of which has just arrived. But I can tell you some facts to establish the framework of the discussion that we'll be having tonight. Since 1990, millions of people have been killed, massacred, and have been victims of a genocide in Africa that's been perpetrated by colonial powers for their interests, for their purpose of plundering Africa. And not very far from Africa, in the Middle East, we have the occupation of Afghanistan since 2001, the nearly 4-year occupation of Iraq. In Iraq, there are over 700,000 civilians dead. In Afghanistan, more than 20,000 people have been killed. This era of war and occupation is the era of imposing death and destruction on hundreds of millions of innocent people by colonial, or some say imperialist powers. Our forum tonight is about Africa. It's to discuss and to analyze the recent openings of the era of war and occupation into Sudan and Somalia. It's also to discuss the colonial history of Africa and the amazing history of resistance and struggle of people in Africa. I want to introduce our first speaker. Her name is Natasha Shivji. Natasha is a UBC student and an organizer with the AMS Coalition Against War on the People of Iraq and internationally. She's an international student from Tanzania, and we'll be discussing the opening of era of war and occupation into Sudan. Thank you, Natasha.